what has inspired you? What has been that drive or feeling in your heart that's inspired you to do this?
I think growing up, I've always been called to be a server. I tell people that all the time. For me, I started off in Girl Scouts, and that was a big part of my life. But I just think that people are born for different reasons, and my reason was definitely to give back. That's like my happiness. That's my passion. I don't do it to, receive awards or accolades. I mean, at this point in my life, I welcome all the awards and accolades because it just helps bring awareness. But I think it's really who I am, and I'm glad that I know what my purpose is in life. A lot of times people walk this earth, and they're not quite sure what their purpose was or is. And for me, I definitely know that this is the purpose that I have. This is the path that I'm supposed to be walking. And it's a good feeling when you know that you can actually change a life and help a life and save a life. So I think that's my motivation. But then also, too, to be a good steward and a good example to my children, meaning the position that we're put in as athletes' wives and my husband being an athlete is that we're blessed abundantly with not just money but also a voice. And I think that we're supposed to utilize that voice, and oftentimes a lot of us don't. Or they feel like if I'm not the star on the team, I don't have a voice, or if I'm not playing anymore, I don't have a voice. And I just feel like, that's not true. If we're going to be called role models and heroes and be said that we inspire our generation, then I think, we're responsible of how that looks. So I just want to be a good steward of what we have and a great example of what it looks like to actually be a role model.
Is there a specific situation with a widow or a child where you had that aha moment, like, wow, this is exactly why I started Beyond the Game? Tell us about that moment.
I think I have a lot of aha moments. Last year, me and my husband were there during Christmas, and there's a little boy, and it's so funny because he's actually one of my little troublemakers now. But he was between the age of 2 and 3 years old, and he couldn't walk. And I was like, this is just so mind-boggling. Why can't he walk? And one of the heads of our care points, before we actually got consistent food there, because you got to understand, we had to get to the point where we are now providing 2 meals a day, 365 days. Me and George were doing the best we could and sending in money when we could and buying food. But right when George and I went, we spent, I think, a total of 19 days there. And that's when we knew we were going to be fully committed. We had got the building up. Well, anyway, by us being there that long, going into week 2, this kid was getting 2 meals a day, like every single day. And heading on the turn of that second week, we watched that kid take his first steps. And it was amazing to us because the only thing that was stopping him from walking was that he was malnutrition. He didn't have enough food in his body or enough energy to actually get up and walk. It wasn't that he didn't want to walk or he wasn't trying to walk. And so that was one of the really big aha moments where I said, okay, I understand, why I'm doing this. And then another big moment for me that really said, okay, I'm doing something is one of the kids came up to me and said, are there black people in America? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, no, are there really black people in America? And I said, why do you say that? And he said, because they never come here to see us. We only see white missionaries come. And that was another big aha moment for me because as an African-American, and even though it's so funny, they see me as colored there, which is actually another race because I'm mixed. So they have black, they have colored, and then they have white. So they see me as a colored person, but they don't see me as a black person. And for them to think that there were no black Americans was mind-boggling to me. And that was another aha moment. And I've worked so hard and fought so hard every single year to make sure that I get people of color to Africa so that they can just see that there's just not one type of person in America.